Hello and welcome to a new video. My name is Myra. I'm coming to you from Sweden, but I'm originally from Germany. And today I would like to answer some questions you have asked under my last video and knit a little bit together with you. And yeah, probably you get to know me a little bit better. And we have some questions about knitting, some about sewing, some about living in Sweden, and so on. And yeah, grab yourself a cup of coffee or tea. I'm having a coffee out of my Moomin mug. It's a very red mug, but yeah, I think it's really cute. And I am knitting on my terrazzo neck. You haven't seen this. I have just talked about it in my last videos that I would like to start knitting this, and yeah, I started with the back and just need to continue with it. And yeah, I have my phone here and I will answer the questions. So yeah, if you have any more questions, just let me know in the comment section, and then I will probably answer them in another video or just directly. I hope you enjoy this video. Grab your knits, grab a cup of tea or coffee, and just knit a little bit together with me. So yeah, so this one is quite an easy knit, I think. But I'm actually quite slow on the twisted rib. I just knitted once in another project before, and yeah, I'm a little bit slow with it. And then you knit and purl a lot. I also said it in one of my last videos, I don't like to purl a lot, but because my tension is a little bit different. But yeah, it's a fun project, and it is a great piece in winter. So we're just doing it. And yeah, it is probably just a little bit about the yarn choice. I am knitting with Double Sunday in the color Cardamom, or also known as 3821, and it is a color from Petit Knit. And then I am knitting it together with Tin Silk Mohair, also from Sandnes Garn, and this is the color Light Beige. Yeah, and it makes a really beautiful fabric. And I also knitted a matching beanie that I have shown you already in my weekly vlog, so my last video. So if you want to see it, you can have a look there, or you wait until my next knitting podcast, where I will also show all the pieces again, where it is probably, hopefully, also finished. I'm just having a little visitor here who likes, yeah, my wool again. I think you're here in every video now and just like to hang around, and it's always the same. It's just too interesting when I'm doing something different and having my wool out, and this is, yeah, too exciting. Okay, well, let's see if we can answer the first question. My cat is a little bit angry because she was not allowed to play with the wool. But the first question I've got is, what was your first knitting project? And I'm actually not sure if I have told you about it in my Everything I Have Knitted video, because I remember I have filmed it, but I just mixed up a lot of dates, and it didn't make sense anymore. But my first my first knitting project I have made was a very long scarf. I was in my exchange year in Finland, and I had a little bit of time because I went to school there, but I didn't have any exams, or it was just all about the experience and learning the language. And so I had a lot of time, and it got colder in the winter, and so I just decided I want to start knitting. And I watched on YouTube how you start knitting, and yeah, so I bought this very it was dark red chunky wool, and I knitted a very long scarf. There was no pattern, it was just very simple scarf. I will include a picture here because I've made some for Instagram at the time, or a little bit later. I had it until last year, the scarf, but then I gave it away because I don't wear it anymore. I also made a matching beanie, a very chunky beanie with it, but I never worn it really. But the scarf I wore a lot actually, and it was very cozy and very long. And if you have seen my Everything I Have Knitted video, there is also the beige cream colored scarf that is inspired by it. So it's a very easy, very long scarf, and it was just a very fun project. And then I got into knitting beanies and other scarves and so on. But this is my first ever sweater I've made. I have shown you all this one in my Everything I Have Knit video. So if you haven't seen it yet, you can watch it after this video and can see all my knitting projects I have still in my wardrobe. But yeah, this was the first sewing project, and there I also crocheted a hat for my sister, but I've crocheted a little bit before because we had some old wool from my grandmother. It was like a really, I remember it was a green, there was different wools, but there was one that was a very green acrylic yarn probably. And we just, we crocheted a lot and just tested a lot of things when we were younger, all in this yarn. This was really fun. But this was the first knitting project. Then there was someone who asked if I have a sewing wish list and what are my favorite yarns to knit with. And you probably, if you have seen some of my last videos, you know I knit a lot with Sandnes yarn because I like to knit a lot of bitty knit patterns, and she recommends the yarn very often, and it's very easy to get here in Sweden. The local wool shop have it, and it's very easy to order online. So I really like the yarns. But I will also I would like to try a little bit more other yarns and some hand dyed yarns. I think it's really fun to try out more like this. But at the moment I actually really like Sandnes yarn. I'm feeling like I haven't tested that many other yarns yet, so I would like to do this in the future. Just test a little bit different yarns, but this is also much easier when you go into the wool shop, I think, because I said it before, I'm quite sensitive to, or my skin is quite sensitive, so some wool feels like very scratchy, especially on my neck and so it's really nice to be able to feel if it's a new yarn, because now I've tested a lot of Sunday yarn from Sandnes yarn, and I know that it's very soft, and I know that I'm not irritated by it, so just ordering a new yarn online is a little bit of it can go well, but it can also be like a fail, you know. But and a wish list for knitting and sewing, actually I sat yesterday evening and watched a little bit through my fabrics, because my fabric I have it in a cupboard behind the camera, and it's just full of fabrics, because when I'm designing fabrics I'm always getting some free meters. So when I came to Sweden 3 years ago, almost didn't have any fabrics with me. I had a little bit of sewing, gadgets and accessories, but I didn't really have fabrics with me actually. But yeah, now this cupboard is full, it is over full, and I really need to sort out some fabrics. It's very hard if you design them yourself, but there are some colorways I'm just not really into, so I need to clean it out a little bit, and yeah. But I have a little, now for autumn I have some plans. I would like to make a skirt and a dress in some checker fabric, because I'm really into checker fabric right now. And then I have like a black jersey fabric I've bought for a fitted dress I would like to make, that is easy to wear with a sweater, but also with when you're out on the evenings. And then I got actually 2 years ago a very nice wool viscose fabric for my mother. It was in my advent calendar or Christmas calendar, and I thought about finally doing something with it. So I have a lot of plans for sewing actually, but I haven't felt that motivated to sit down and really sew something in the last weeks or months. So at the moment it's going a little bit like I'm buying fabrics and then I'm feeling just not in the mood for sewing. So I just bought some woven fabrics, because I don't have that many woven fabrics in my wardrobe or in my cupboard. I just have a lot of jersey fabrics, because this is what I mostly sewn with in the last years. But now I'm really into, I would like to have some more woven dresses, and yeah, I saw a brown cream checkered fabric that I fell in love with, and I think it would be just perfect for autumn. So I probably will order it and make like a dress without sleeves, so that I can have a long sleeve under it. But yeah, I have some ideas. Let's see how it will go. And for knitting, I think I've mentioned a little bit before, but now I'm knitting on my colorwork sweater, and it's coming closer to an end. And then I will start the caramel sweater by Petit Knit. I've already have the wool here, and then I would like to make another cardigan, because I've made the Novice cardigan mohair edition, and I actually really like it, and I think it's really easy to just put it on over a long sleeve, and it's cozy and nice to combine, and yeah, you can wear it over dresses and everything, so it's a very practical garment. So I would like to make probably something like the April cardigan or the Champagne cardigan by Petit Knit, or I have a knitting book where there's a quite similar cardigan in, so I was thinking about that as well. So some kind of cardigan I would like to make in the autumn as well, and then I really would like to make some more structured knit. Petit Knit is working on the Moby sweater, I think it's Moby, and it's a very beautiful structured sweater, because first I fell really in love with the Ingrid sweater, but there are just a lot of techniques that I'm not familiar with, and I know there are a lot of people that it's not that hard that it looks like, but actually this one is, I like it even more. So I would really love to make this one, because I've always dreamed about knitting things like this when I was younger, so it would be such a fun project and show myself that I can really create these things. Yeah, so, but I think this one would take a long time, And then yeah, there's some sock plants. I would like to make some lace socks, as I said in my last video. My book from Kuto Wakika is on its way. So I'm really excited to see the knitting project in the book, and I'm sure I will take some of these as well for my autumn wardrobe. So I have a little bit more specific plans for my sewing garment, I think, but I also know I'm quite slow, so I'm taking a little bit of slow, and I'm really into knitting at the moment. I'm just every day and knitting, and it's just given me so much joy. But I don't have that many plans yet, I'm feeling, and that's okay, because it's take a little bit longer, and if I have just too many plans, I'm buying too much wool, I just get overwhelmed. So I have 2 work in progresses right now, and then I have the next big one planned. So this is quite fine for me. This works great for me. And then there was a question that I thought was really fun as well. It was about if I have tried some Swedish wool and what I have thought about it. And I thought about it, but I actually haven't tried any wool from Sweden. But I had a little research, and there is from Järbo Garn. They have a wool called Swedish wool. I'm not sure how rustic it feels, and I will go into the yarn shop one day and just feel how it feels. But it's probably also, I think it's a little bit more rustic, so it's probably a nice idea for another outdoor colorwork sweater or something. And then there are sometimes on some small markets you can find some wool from the region. I was last year on a autumn market, and they had some alpaca wool from very close from here. So this is fun, I think, but there I was not comfortable to just buy the wool and don't know what to do. Now I think I'm feeling more comfortable with buying some wool and then deciding what I want to do. But yeah, and then we had planned a holiday on Gotland. It's an island in Sweden, and there you have the Gotland sheeps, and there's also a wool mill or spinning mill, and I was really excited to go there and buy some Swedish Gotland wool. Sadly we had to cancel this holiday, but yeah, I'm sure we are coming there another time and I can buy some wool there and test it. But I thought this question was really fun, and thinking about it more and more, I would really like to try a little bit more of Swedish wool, because it's fun to test what you have close by, and I think you should appreciate also the wool that is made very closely, and the sheep that are living in Sweden. So I thought it was a fun question. Then there was a question what I am doing in my free time. Or it's also like, what do you like to do in Sweden when you have free time? I think it doesn't matter if I'm living in Germany or if I'm living in Sweden. Obviously I like to knit a lot in my free time, but yeah, as I said, I like sewing also, and then I like gardening. We have at the moment 2 balconies, and we are growing some vegetables and fruit there. We have some cucumbers, and we had a melon, and we have tomatoes and salad and some blackberries, and in other years we have had also carrots and kale and so on. So this is really fun. We really would like to have a little garden somewhere, but it's not that easy to get a garden here. But probably sometime in the future, or a flat with a little bit of garden. We will see. But at the moment, yeah, we have the balconies, and it's fun just to test a little bit, and yeah. And then I really like to come out into nature. We would like to take hikes and cook outside and just enjoying the nature. And this is probably something I'm doing more in Sweden. I really love the Swedish nature. It's just very, very beautiful. We have beautiful forests and lakes everywhere, and I really, really enjoy it a lot. Then there's a question about how it's going with speaking Swedish and if I'm feeling comfortable with it. And now I have lived about 3 years in Sweden, and I made one Swedish course in Germany, but I didn't know a lot when I came here. I could read a few words because I think in the beginning Swedish and German are not so far from each other, because I've learned Finnish before, and Finnish is just like you can't understand anything when you're reading, so it was a little bit better with Swedish. And then I started working in English, but then after about a year we just turned into Swedish and didn't speak any word in English anymore at work. So this was helped me a lot to just speak. It doesn't matter how it sounds or if it's correct or not, because I'm quite a perfectionist, and in the beginning it was quite hard to speak Swedish, especially when you just speak English the whole time with a person. Go over to Swedish. But I started to go into the supermarkets, and everywhere I was, I just tried to speak Swedish. And there was a lot of moments I didn't understand what the other person said, and sometimes a little bit frustrating. Probably also for your information, my boyfriend and I were speaking German at home. He is from Sweden, but has lived or made an exchange here in Germany and spoke very, very good German. And then he also lived there 2 more years. So he's quite good in German. And we just spoke German from the beginning, so it's also what we speak at home actually. But then I think I just learned it from working in Swedish and being in contact with customers and writing emails in Swedish. And my Swedish is not perfect. I still make a lot of mistakes, but I can understand everything I would say. And a lot of times people say, "Oh, your Swedish is so good for 3 years." So this is really nice to hear, because I'm really not good at any grammar, neither in English or in German. So I'm also not the best in Swedish. I made one course here in Sweden actually, but it was quite intense. It was 2 days per week for about 2 hours, and after work, and it was on Zoom, and it was just like the skill level of speaking Swedish was was not the same with all pupils, so it was a little bit exhausting, and it took a lot of time. And it was not so much fun, so I stopped it again because I was just working and studying. But it's just speaking with people, and I think it will come by itself, especially when you're from Germany, because the language is quite close, and it's not too difficult, I would say. I don't know if I could study in Swedish, because this is just the next level. I don't know how long this video will be. I'm feeling I have talked already quite a lot. So question why I moved to Sweden and if all my family lives in Germany. Yes, all my family lives in Germany. And as I said before, my boyfriend comes from Sweden. This is also another question, how we met. And we met during his exchange year. So I was in Finland the year before, and then we had a Finnish exchange student in my family. Not from the same family I was in, just another Finnish girl. And on an exchange student meeting, I met my boyfriend. So in Germany you go a year earlier to exchange, and in Sweden you do it just a year later. So we're the same age. So we started to talk, and then we started to meet, and then he went back and finished his school, and then he came back to Germany, and we moved to Stuttgart, and 2 years later we moved together to Sweden. His family is living here, my family is living in Germany. I thought it would be quite easy to go and visit them, but then Corona came, and after a year I was home the first time, and it's like very big gaps between seeing my family, so this is a little bit sad because we thought it would be easier. I think it's a part of living abroad that you can't see your family that often, and this is a little bit sad because you can't be at all the milestones with your family, or they can't be with you, and this is just part of living abroad, and you can't just go over and drink a coffee or something, but it's part of this relationship, international relationship, and we are still thankful that Germany and Sweden is not that far from each other, and we can see a few times a year. So my last time I was in Germany was last Christmas, or before Christmas, so we will see when I'm back. I have no plans actually at the moment. Another question, I thought it was fun if I saw 5 years ago if my life looks like what it is now. So 5 years ago I was 19. I think I was in my second year of my studies to become a fashion designer and custom tailor. And probably, I don't know, 5 years ago probably, because I was already together with my boyfriend. It was always like I'm studying first because I started or applied when we met, and then it's always a possibility to move to Sweden, because there he also already lived again in Germany, and so it was a little bit difficult for him to study in German. It's very difficult to write like you do in your own language, so I think it was always a thought that we would move to Sweden. But how everything will work out and where I'm working and so on, this we just didn't know, and it turned out well, so that's great. But I think we're still in these years where everything is very exciting and a lot of changes are happening, and now my boyfriend is in his master studies, so it's a really exciting part of life, I think. And we were close. This video was with a few sewing questions, I think. I probably have said one of these things already. Here is when I've started sewing and if I have studied sewing. So I started sewing when I got my first sewing machine when I was about 14 or 15, and then I started sewing little pockets and stuff. But I also sewed a little bit with my mom's sewing machine before. And then during my exchange year I started to sew a little bit clothing and got more confident in that. And after coming back I went back to school. It was a school for design and art, but I was not 100% happy with my choice. Yeah, so I went after the year, because the year at the art and design school there was also like a practical experience, and I made it in a fabric store, and then I really got into the sewing part, and I looked around where I can go, and because in Germany you have different ways to what you can do after school. You can go and study at a university, or you can make an apprenticeship. This is normally in a company itself, and then you have 1.5 days in a week school, and you're learning just a lot what they're doing in the company. And mine was just at school. It was a fashion school. You do it after your normal school, and we learned everything about pattern making by hand and on the computer, about fashion drawing, about fashion history, about maths for pattern making, and what else we did really, like all about all textiles, and fabrics, and a lot of things you learn. And it was 3 years, and there we also learned to become custom tailors. So we had also a lot of sewing at the school, and then we had a fashion show every year where we ourselves needed to go on the catwalk, and a lot of fun experience, and I have learned a lot there. So it's not at the university, but it's also some kind of fashion studies, I would call it. And I'm working with pattern making and fabric design at the moment, but I'm also doing a lot of social media and creating content for social media, and working with influencers, and a lot of other stuff than just creating patterns and fabric design. And then there was also a question I think is quite fun, if when I start creating my patterns, in which language do I start, and if I do it in German. My very first pattern I made, I started actually in German, and we also published it in German as a PDF. But then we stopped publishing in German, so it's just a waste of time starting in German, I think. So I'm always starting in English, and then sometimes I'm translating it myself in Swedish, and then of course my colleague is double checking it, because my Swedish is just not perfect, but sometimes she's also directly translating it herself in Swedish. It depends a little bit on the time, because it's very time consuming for me to write everything in Swedish as well. So I'm doing it in English. I think this is more all the questions for today, and I think the video is already quite long. I'm not sure how long it is already. My terrazzo neck is growing slowly but safely. I hope you enjoyed this video and could learn a little bit more about me, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and follow my channel, and also have a look at my Instagram account. There I'm showing a little bit more finished objects, but also some works in progresses in my stories, and a little bit other stuff I'm doing. So if you're interested, definitely go and check it out, and I hope I see you next time again, and I wish you a lovely day. Bye!